So let's have listening 3 of Unit 24 of Tactics for Listening Level Developing. Please open your books on page 96 of the book, and there are 2 tasks here. In task 1, people are describing travel experiences. Some people are talking about the experiences that they had on their trips, on their vacations. Is each statement true or false? And listen and check the correct answer. Of course, about Chelsea, the first statement is already done. She was eating in a Korean restaurant. It is true. And in task 2, we are going to do both tasks together. In task 2, you should listen again. Of course, you could pause the video and listen for once more. Why does each person want to go back again? When people are talking about their vacations, they say that they like to go back to that place. But why? What is the reason? For example, about Chelsea, part B is correct. She wants to see a temple. Temple means ma'bad, and she wants to go back to that place to see a temple. And I want you to write the correct number, the correct letter. So let's listen to that together. At first, listen to conversation 1.
Page 96. Track 41. Listening 3. 1.
I met this really nice family when I was in Korea last year. I was in a restaurant, and I was having trouble understanding the menu. The wife came over and asked me what I wanted to eat, and told me all about Korean food. Then they asked me to join them at their table, and they paid for my dinner. They also invited me to their house. We became friends, and we keep in touch now by email. They'll take me to a famous temple the next time I go back. Isn't that fabulous? I can't wait to see that temple.
So Chelsea went to Korea, and in the first statement, she was eating in a Korean restaurant. It is correct. She asked the woman to help her. No, it is not correct. It is false, because she had a problem with the menu. The woman came to her, and she didn't ask her for help. Part C, the woman invited her to join the family at their table. No, actually, the Korean lady came to her table and solved her problem with the menu, and then the Korean lady invited her to go to their house, so they didn't join each other at the table, and this statement is false. And part D, she hasn't been in touch with the woman since then, means since that time, from that time until now, they haven't had any news about each other. This is false again, because they have been in touch by email since then. And in task 2, of course, the answer is given to you. She wants to go back to Korea because she wants to go to see a temple. Let's continue with number 2.
2.
Once when I was in Italy, I took a bus trip from Rome to Florence. The bus was very crowded, and I had to stand most of the way. I had a couple of small bags with me. One was a backpack that had my wallet in it. I kept it in front of me for the entire trip, but when I got to Florence, I couldn't believe what had happened. Someone had cut a hole in my backpack, put in their hand, and removed my wallet. Then they took the money out and put the wallet back inside my backpack. I never noticed a thing. It really ruined my vacation because I couldn't pay to get into any museums. So now I want to go back again next summer and see all the museums I missed.
So Brooke traveled in Italy, and she was traveling by train in Italy. No, it is incorrect, because she was traveling by bus. In part B, her wallet was in one of her bags. Yes, it is okay. She had a couple of bags, and in one of the bags, she had a wallet. So part B is correct. It is true. Someone stole one of her bags. No, it is false, because the person did not steal her bag. The person stole her money from her wallet. And C is also false. And D, the person didn't steal the wallet. That is correct. That is true because the person only stole the money and put the wallet back. And Brooke wants to go back to Italy because she wants to see the museums she missed. It is part C because they stole her money. She didn't have any money to go to the museums, so she would like to go back to Italy to go to the museums that she missed. And let's have conversation 3.
3.
Last summer, I flew from London to Casablanca in Morocco to do some research on the traditional music there. Unfortunately, my bags didn't arrive with the flight. I thought they would probably arrive on the next flight, but they didn't. I had nothing to wear except the clothes I had on. Luckily, the airline gave me some money to buy some extra clothes and things. The bags didn't turn up till 4 days later. I was really glad to get my bags back because I had a lot of important stuff inside them. But I had to wait around until they turned up, so I didn't get a chance to listen to any of the traditional music. That's why I want to get back there again sometime.
About Steve, for part A, he had extra clothes with him. No, it is false because he only had the clothes that he had on and all his other clothes were in his bag and his bag was lost. And in part B, the airline did nothing to help. That is incorrect. It is false because the airline gave him some money to buy some clothing. And in part C, his bags arrived 4 days later. That is correct. His bags arrived, but they were late, 4 days later. And in part D, his bags had important things inside them. That is also true because he had a lot of important things in his bag. He was happy to get them back. And he wants to go back to that place because he wants to listen to the traditional music. So for task 2, the answer to question number 3 is part A. Because he was busy waiting for his bags, he couldn't listen to the traditional music and he wants to go back to do that. And the last conversation 4.
4.
I was on vacation in Australia last summer when I got a terrible case of the flu. I had to stay in bed for 4 days, and it was a week before I was feeling well enough to go out. I have a cousin in Sydney who was really kind and spent a lot of time with me until I was better. By then, I only had 3 days of sightseeing left before I had to leave. I saw the Sydney Opera House, and that was about it. The most awful thing is I didn't have the chance to go scuba diving. I want to go back and scuba dive there. They have the best coral reefs in the world.
Rachel went to Australia. In part A, she got sick with food poisoning in Australia. Food poisoning means مسمومیت غذایی, but it is false because she got a case of the flu, influenza, and not food poisoning. And part B, she was only sick for 2 days. That is false again because she was sick for about 1 week until she got better. And in part C, she knew someone in Sydney. It is correct. It is true because she had a cousin there and her cousin took care of her when she was sick. And in part D, she went sightseeing for 3 days. That is correct. Of course, in those 3 days, she only saw the Opera House of Sydney, but she had 3 days left of sightseeing and she was sick for 1 week, but she had 3 days left. And this is correct, part D. And Rachel wants to go back to Australia because she wants to go scuba diving, and it is part D because she couldn't go there. Okay. Now let's go to the end of the workbook and talk about the conversations and talks one by one. Listening 3, conversation 1. I'm on page 50 of the workbook. I met this really nice family. This here means a really nice family. And remember that we are talking about the past, so met is the past of meet. When I was in Korea last year is an adverbial clause here, and when is a subordinating conjunction which shows time. I was in a restaurant and I was having trouble understanding the menu. I was having trouble. Trouble means problem. Was having is past continuous. این همطور گیر منیو بودم. مشکل داشتم باهاش. ادامه داشته. به خاطر همین past continuous استفاده میکنیم. و بچه دوست دارم به ساختار trouble اینجا دقت کنید که چطوری استفاده شده. To have trouble doing something. کالوکیشن اینه. Have trouble doing something. اینجا میگه I was having trouble past continuous. I was having trouble understanding the menu. Means my problem was that I couldn't understand the menu. The wife means the wife of the family, the mother of the family, came over. Came over means came to me. It is the past tense of come. And asked me what I wanted to eat and told me all about Korean food. Of course, because she couldn't understand the menu, the Korean lady helped her. Pay attention to the structure of this sentence. Asked me. Me here is an indirect object. What I wanted to eat. What I wanted to eat is a direct object. And of course, it is a question in the form of the direct object, and it is an embedded question. The question is this: what did I want to eat? But because now it is a noun clause in the form of an object, we do not have it in the question form. بچه اینجا ساختار what I wanted to eat در واقع what did I want to eat بوده. یک سوال کامل بوده. ولی چون که در جایگاه مفعول قرار گرفته، در جایگاه مفعول مستقیم، از حالت سوالی خارج شده و تبدیل شده به یک noun clause. به این نوع noun clause ها میگیم embedded questions. And then they asked me to join them at their dinner table. Actually, they asked the girl to join them at the dinner table, not the girl asked the family. Because in the questions, it was the girl asked the family to join them. It was the opposite way. And they paid for my dinner. They paid the money for that. They also invited me to their house. Invited, the past it is. We became friends. Became is the past tense of become. And we keep in touch now by email. Keep in touch, pay attention to the collocation, means we email each other, we know what we are doing, and we are friends. We haven't been disconnected from each other. And they'll take me to a famous temple the next time I go back. Means the next time that I go back to Korea, here I go back is an adjective clause that is describing the next time. The next time that I go back to Korea, that is deleted here. And they will take me, منو میبرن. And will is the structure of the future. Isn't that fabulous? Fabulous means great, wonderful. I can't wait to see that temple. Means I really like. When you say I can't wait to do something, means I really like to do it. Number 2. Once, when I was in Italy, once means one time in the past. When I was in Italy is an adverbial clause. I took a bus trip from Rome to Florence. Both of them are two cities in Italy, and she was taking a bus. The bus was very crowded. A lot of people were on the bus and I had to stand most of the way. مجبور بودم بیشتر مسیر رو سر پا وایستم. I had to is the past tense of have to. It's a modal verb. Stand most of the way. I had a couple of small bags with me. A couple of means some, a few, 3 or 4 bags with me. One was a backpack. Means one of the bags that I had with me was a backpack. یک کل پشتی بود that had my wallet in it. Means I had a backpack and my wallet, my money bag, was inside that backpack. And pay attention to the structure of this statement. A backpack that had my wallet in it. That had my wallet in it is an adjective clause that is describing a backpack, and it is a subjective adjective clause because that is the subject of the adjective clause and had is a verb. There's no other subject. I kept it in front of me for the entire trip. Entire means the whole trip, all the trip. I kept my bag in front of me. گذاشتمش جلوم توی تمام طول مسیر. همینطور حواسم بهش بود. But when I got to Florence, got means arrived, I couldn't believe what had happened. Again, what had happened is a noun clause. It is an embedded question, and it is the object for the verb believe. Someone had cut a hole in my backpack. Had cut, it is past perfect. بریده بود، یه سوراخی رو برش داده بود توی بکپکم. چرا از ساختار پست پرفکت استفاده کردیم؟ چون قبل از اینکه من متوجه بشم در زمان گذشته این کار رو انجام داده بود، قبل از متوجه شدن من. And put in their hand and removed my wallet. من اینجا یه توضیحی بدم در مورد ساموان. وقتی میگیم ساموان یعنی یه نفر، خب طبیعتا نمیدونیم که خانم بوده یا آقا. پس اینکه تو جمله بعدی ضمیر شی یا هی استفاده کنیم ناشناسه و بعضی وقتا میگیم he or she، ولی اصلا دیگه متداول نیست که از he or she استفاده کنیم یا his or her. الان میخواد بگه یه نفر دستشو برده بود داخل بکپکم، یه نفر بکپکمو بریده بود و دستشو برده بود. میبینید دفعه دوم از their hand استفاده میکنه. علیرغم اینکه داریم در مورد یک نفر صحبت میکنیم اشکالی نداره که از ضمیر جمع استفاده کردیم، متداوله، ما همون یه نفر رو منظور داریم، ولی چون جنسیتش مشخص نیست از ضمیر جمع استفاده میکنیم. So someone had cut a hole in my backpack, put in their hand and removed my wallet. Remove here means take. Of course, took. It is the past tense. Then they took the money out and put the wallet back inside my backpack. Means only they took the money and put the wallet back. I never noticed a thing. اصلا نفهمیده بودم که همچین اتفاقی افتاد. Notice یعنی متوجه چیزی شدن. And here it is in simple past. It really ruined my vacation. Ruined means destroyed because I couldn't pay to get into any museums. I went to Italy because I wanted to go to museums, but I didn't have the money now. So now I want to go back again next summer and see all museums I missed. Pay attention to the structure. I missed is that I missed. All the museums that I missed. And that I missed is an adjective clause. It is an objective adjective clause because that is the object of the clause. And it is describing the museums. Number 3, last summer I flew. Flew is the past tense of fly, means by airplane, from London to Casablanca in Morocco to do some research on the traditional music there. Of course, she went to Morocco because she wanted to do some research on music, on the traditional music. And to do here is infinitive of purpose. I went to Morocco. Why? What was my goal? What was my purpose? To do some research. Unfortunately, unluckily, my bags didn't arrive with the flight. The bags were late. And I thought they would probably arrive on the next flight. Pay attention to the structure of the verb. I thought means at that time they would probably arrive. Would arrive is future in the past. Because at that time I had this opinion about the future. So we use the past tense of will. اینجا بچه داشته که پیش بینی برای آینده انجام میداده. ما اصولا وقتی پیش بینی برای آینده انجام میدیم از will استفاده میکنیم. ولی وقتی که این پیش بینیمون در گذشته برای آینده بوده باشه از ساختار آینده در گذشته گذشته استفاده میکنیم، یعنی به جای will از would استفاده میکنیم به اضافه ریشه فعل. پس اینجا که میگه would probably arrive به خاطر اینکه در زمان گذشته این برنامه رو داشته، یعنی این حدس رو زده، گمان رو داشته. I had nothing to wear except the clothes I had on. هیچی نداشتم بپوشم به جز لباسهایی که تنم بود. این میشه مفهوم کلی جمله. I had nothing، هیچی نداشتم. به چه منظور؟ To wear. اینجا to wear مثل infinitive of purpose برای فعل have میمونه. I had nothing to wear except یعنی به جز حرف اضافه محسوب میشه the clothes. کدوم clothes؟ The clothes that I had on. So that I had on is an adjective clause for clothes, and that is deleted because it was the object. And the bags didn't turn up till 4 days later. Didn't turn up means didn't arrive. Turn up, show up, arrive. Till means until, means the bags were 4 days late. And I was really glad means happy, to get my bags back. Get something back means they were returned actually, because I had a lot of important stuff inside them. Inside them means in the bags, and important stuff means important things. Remember, stuff means things. It is plural, but it doesn't need s. اوکی؟ بچه دقت کنید که استاف خودش جمعه، نیازی به اس نداره. اگرم بخوایم با فعل دیگه با فعل ازش استفاده کنیم، فعلش باید جمع باشه. مثلا میگیم all the stuff are, all my stuff were، نمیگیم was یا is. And but I had to wait around until they turned up. Wait around یعنی تو همون شهره باید میموندم، نمیتونستم برم جاهای دیگر رو بگردم که موزیکاشون رو گوش کنم. Wait around یعنی همون اطراف باید منتظر میموندم. Until they turned up. They means the bags and turned up means arrived. So I didn't get a chance to listen to any of the traditional music. Of course, I think it was he wanted to make research on the traditional music, but he didn't get a chance to do that. فرصتش نشد. He didn't get a chance. فرصتش پیش نیومد که این کار رو انجام بدم. That's why I want to get back there again sometime. Sometime means one time in the future. That is why. دلیلم اینه که میخوام چیکار کنم. I want to get back there again. بچه اینجا why I want to get back there again دوباره حالت embedded questionی داره که بعد از فعل to be اومده که به خود فاعل برمیگرده. یعنی embedded questionی هست که به عنوان یک noun clause در جایگاه subject complement قرار گرفته. Number 4. I was on vacation in Australia last summer when I got a terrible case of the flu. When I got a terrible case of the flu is an adverbial clause. When is a subordinating conjunction and it is showing the time. Remember, for vacation we say on vacation. For Australia, which is a country, we say in Australia. And last summer does not need a preposition, and got and was are simple past verbs. And we say a terrible case of the flu یعنی یه مورد خیلی بد آنفولانزا گرفتم. کیس اینجا منظور یک مدل سرماخوردگیه. I had to, the past tense of have to, stay in bed for 4 days, and it was a week before I was feeling well enough to go out. Of course, she had to stay in bed for 4 days, only in the bed, and for 7 days she was not okay. She couldn't go out, and she didn't feel well. And it was a week before I was feeling well enough. یعنی یه هفته شد تا اینکه من دوباره حالم خوب شد و تونستم برم بیرون. بچه اینجا before I was feeling well enough to go out دوباره حالت adverbial clause داره. beforeش داره زمان رو نشون میده و یک subordinating conjunction محسوب میشه. و به فعلش دقت کنید. was feeling is a past continuous verb and we are talking about a period of time in the past. I have a cousin in Sydney who was really kind and spent a lot of time with me until I was better. So, who was really kind is an adjective clause to describe a cousin. Actually, I had a cousin. What cousin? A cousin who was really kind and spent a lot of time with me. Until I was better, until is a subordinating conjunction showing time, and until I was better is an adverbial clause. By then means before that, before the 7 days were finished, by then, I only had 3 days of sightseeing left before I had to leave. یعنی تا اون موقعی که حالم خوب شد دیگه فقط 3 روز از فرصت سایتسینگ برام باقی مونده بود. یعنی 3 روز دیگه فرصت داشتم که برم این ور اون ور رو ببینم. به ساختار دقت کنید. I had 3 days of sightseeing left. یعنی 3 روز برام باقی مونده بود. Before I had to leave is again another adverbial clause. I saw the Sydney Opera House. Sydney Opera House is the name of a place. Because of that, Sydney Opera and House are capitalized. And that was about it. یعنی دیگه همه کاری که تونستم بکنم تو اون 3 روز همین بود دیگه، به چیز دیگه ای نرسیدم. That was about it. And the most awful thing is بدترین چیزی که اتفاق افتاد چیه؟ بعد از is بچه یک subject complement داریم که اینجا در جایگاه subject complement noun clause استفاده شده. The most awful thing is that is deleted. I didn't have the chance to go scuba diving. یه اسنورکلینگ داشتیم قبلا، حالا اینجا اسکوبا دایوینگ داریم. جفتش یعنی غواصی تو فارسی، ولی اسنورکلینگ اون غواصیه که شما روی سطح آب در حالی که یک دستگاه اسنورکل روی دهنت وصل کردی و یه تیوبیه که از سطح دریا بیرونه، یعنی شما نمیتونی بری زیر آب و روی سطح آب میمونی، اون تیوب بیرونه ولی خب سرت زیر آبه، میتونی زیر آبو ببینی و نفس بکشی. ولی اسکوبا دایوینگ شما همراه با کپسول اکسیژن کاملا میری کف دریا و یه ماسک روی دهنته، اصلا دیگه چیزی از آب بیرون نیست، شما کپسول به خودت میبری پایین. این میشه اسکوبا دایوینگ. و استرالیا به اسکوبا دایوینگش معروفه چون که کورال ریف داره، صخره‌های مرجانی داره که همه میشناسن استرالیا رو، سیدنی رو به این صخره‌های مرجانی، و کورال ریفز رو که توی جمله بعد میگه منظور همین صخره‌های مرجانی هستن. They have the best coral reefs in the world. Because of that, she would like to go back to Australia to see the coral reefs. Okay then, and we are done with listening 3, but I'm going to continue with the last page of the unit, which is going to work on some pronunciation and dictation. So in the pronunciation part, we are working on the pronunciation of the verb was. Of course, we usually change the pronunciation in the speaking. When we want to spell it, we say W-A-S. But when we want to say it, instead of was, we say was. It is shortened, and it sounds like very short oo, was. Okay, like this. How was your trip? How was your trip? It was great. It was great. Or how was the food? It was okay. Okay? And you could listen to how the sentences are pronounced.
Page 97. Track 42. Pronunciation. 1,
How was your trip?
It was great.
2,
How was the food?
It was okay.
There's also one dictation part. I'd like you to listen to a short conversation and fill in the blanks that have some missing words.
Page 97. Track 43. Dictation.
Hi, Jen. How was your trip?
It was great. I had a wonderful time.
How was the food?
It was good. I ate a lot.
How was the weather there?
It was beautiful the whole time I was there.
So, what was the best thing about your trip?
The beaches.
Now let's have it together. We say, hi, Jen. How was your trip? Of course, we have was here. How was your trip? How and was should be spelled here. How, H-O-W, was, W-A-S. It was great. I had a wonderful time. Everything was okay. And how was the food? Again, was, it is W-A-S. How was? It was good. I ate a lot. And in the next question, we say, how was the weather there? How was the weather there? How was the weather? It was beautiful the whole time I was there. And so, what was the best thing? What was the best thing about your trip? The beaches. The thing that you need to write is about your trip. About is A-B-O-U-T, your Y-O-U-R, trip, T-R-I-P. Okay, and is the beaches. Thank you very much for following me up to here. And I am Fatima Sajjadi, and this is EnglishTech.ir. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Good luck with that, and please continue following the videos in the next book.